All right, welcome to Chem 101. My name's Isaac Smith. I'm going to be your instructor this term. So today I just want to kind of give you an introduction to the class and what we'll be doing and hopefully lay out some clear expectations because I know with online classes, one of the hardest parts is just knowing what's expected of you because communication can kind of be difficult. So hopefully we can make that clear. And I was a little sad when I learned we wouldn't be doing this like face-to-face in the classroom, but hopefully we can just make the best of it. And I'll be recording lectures and trying to make it as close to a face-to-face experience as possible. So I prepared a little PowerPoint here to do an introduction to the class and kind of to tell you guys a little bit more about me. But before I start that, I'm a graduate student here at BYU, and I'm working on my PhD in organic chemistry. So I'm in my third year, and so you probably won't find me on like the professor list or anything like that. But I have taught this class with another instructor last year, and so I'll be using some of the same material that we used when I taught it last year as well. So let me get going here with this PowerPoint. All right, so this is Chem 101. Just as a quick note here at the beginning, Chem 101 it covers general chemistry topics, and generally it's taken in preparation for Chem 285, which is organic and biochemistry. And it's a class that's required for a lot of majors and different programs. If you're just taking this class to get a GE credit or like a science credit, you just need another credit. There is the option of taking Chem 102 here. So Chem 102 is more of like a broader overview and might be not as in depth as we go into in Chem 101. And so unless you really need Chem 101 or Chem 285 for your program, Chem 102 might be a good option for you. So like I said, my name's Isaac Smith, and I'm a graduate student, so you don't need to call me like Dr. Smith or whatever. You can call me Isaac or Brother Smith or Professor Smith or, yeah, those are all good, whatever you feel comfortable with. I do have an office here on campus in C402. I'm assuming most of you aren't on campus. And I'll be doing all my office hours online through Zoom anyway. But my office hours right now I've posted on Learning Suite. I think it's Monday through Friday between 10 and 11 a.m. And how I'll be doing that is just like a Zoom link that you can click into and enter into this kind of virtual office space. And I'll have like a virtual whiteboard. You'll see me throughout the presentations using a pen just so I can like draw. I'll just write draw. Sorry, my handwriting. I'm still getting used to this pen thing. So anyway, I'll be drawing stuff on the PowerPoint slides and then as if I was using a chalkboard. And then also in my office hours, I'll have kind of a virtual whiteboard and you can ask questions and work through problems that way. So hopefully that's as close to real life as we can get over the internet here. So let's see, our TA is Promoda, and I will have her post office hours on Learning Suite sometime this week. So her office hours, I'm assuming, will be the same. I need to connect with her a little more and understand exactly how she would like to do it, but we'll try and make sure that we have office hours that work for everybody. So if you feel like none of the office hours currently work for your schedules, just email me and we'll make sure that we open up some time slots so that everybody can have a time that they can come get help if they have any questions. All right. So just a little introduction about me. I am originally from Tacoma, Washington. so kind of like the Seattle area. And I went to BYU, Idaho for my undergraduate degree and then came here for graduate school. I married my wife, Anna, and you can see on the slide. And we just had our little daughter, Abigail, last year. She's the cutest little thing. And yeah, we're just living here in Provo now. And I love to do woodworking. It's like my biggest hobby. I wake up every day early, do a little woodworking before I come here. And these are just some nightstands that I built with one of my friends. I also have a YouTube channel. You can click on this link. It's not that good, and I just started it, so there's only one video, and it's kind of boring. But anyway, you can kind of see the shop and see what I do a little bit in the video. But like I said, it's not great yet. Don't feel pressured to like and subscribe and stuff like people say. Anyway, just thought I'd throw that in there for fun. So some of the tools you'll want to use this semester, Learning Suite is kind of going to be our central hub for everything. So you'll find the syllabus, the schedule, when everything's due on Learning Suite. You'll also find the links to the different lectures. So after I record a lecture, I'll post it to a YouTube channel where you guys can view it. I just like to use YouTube because it's a lot easier to view on your phone or computer or tablet or whatever. I know some of you might be like traveling this summer, and so hopefully that makes it easier to watch the lectures. And then there will also be a lecture quiz, which really is just a question that says, did you watch the lecture? I like to give participation points, I guess, for those who watch the lectures. It kind of gives your grade a little bit of a buffer and just make sure that you're staying on track throughout the semester. This class is, normally 13 weeks or something, and we have, I think, like 6 or 7 weeks to do this class, which means we're doing 6 lectures a week. And so there's a lot of material. And so if you fall behind even a couple days, it's going to feel very difficult to get back on track. So the lecture quizzes are going to be due the day that you would have received the lecture had you been on campus. So, for example, June 22nd is the first day of class, and I'll post lectures 0, which is the introduction, and lecture 1. And then there's a quiz June 22nd at night, due at midnight or whatever, that says, did you watch the lectures? So you need to make sure you watch the lectures on the day you would, or by the day you would have watched the lectures had you been on campus. That way I can just keep everyone on track, and so you don't miss 6 lectures and you're trying to catch up, because that's going to be really difficult. So, and I'll talk a little bit more about the schedule a little bit later. Then also you'll just see random announcements. Maybe, we might have to move an office hour or do something like that. And so those announcements will be posted to Learning Suite, or I'll send them out in like a mass email to the class. For the book, it's going to be this general organic and biochemistry book. And we're actually using the 6th edition. But if you have a 5th edition, it's not the end of the world. The page numbers might be a little bit different. Sorry, I forgot to edit this slide. But 6th edition is what we're on now. And I'll put like the different sections that would be beneficial for you to read before you come to class, or before you watch the lecture, I guess. It's not like required. I'm not going to ask you if you read or anything. And this might depend, on your previous exposure to chemistry. If you haven't had any chemistry, it may be more beneficial for you to read these sections before coming to class or before watching the lectures. If you have already, taken AP chemistry or something like that in high school, you'll already have had some exposure to these. So you can kind of feel it out as you go through the class, see what works best for you. I tried to keep like the grading and everything in a way that you guys can kind of adapt how you want to learn and take the class. So do what works best for you. But I will post like the sections that will be related to each lecture that we're talking about. And then there's also practice problems in the book, and then also could be beneficial to watch or to do those before watching the lecture. That way you kind of know what to look for when I talk about the different problems in the lectures and how to solve them. Mastering Chemistry is the online homework problems that we'll be using. And I'll go into that in a little bit as well. But to sign up, just go to masteringchemistry.com, sign up as a student, and you'll need your the course ID, which is this one right here. And it's also on Learning Suite. And then you should be able to sign up that way. If you buy a brand new book, or if you buy the ebook, it will come with like an access code for Mastering Chemistry. If you use a used book, then you'll have to purchase the Mastering Chemistry package separately, so you can see what works out best for you. And these are due every Monday, Wednesday, Friday morning. So they're going to be due. I'll show you in the schedule; it'll make more sense. But they're due before the next lecture, basically. So I'll show you that in Learning Suite on the schedule. And then this is the YouTube channel for the class lectures. Again, I'll be posting each video link separately, so you probably don't need to like know the YouTube channel link, but it's there if you ever need it. And then in the past, there's been like a tutorial lab on campus where you can kind of go in and just drop in and talk to a TA any time of the day. And I know last term in the spring term, they did like a virtual tutorial lab. So they haven't said anything yet, but I will post some more information on that as it becomes available. So for the class structure, this is it pretty much. I tried to keep it simple. Like I said, there's 4 different groups of grading. So we have the lecture quizzes, which is 20% of your final grade. And those are just the quizzes that say, did you watch the lecture? So if you watch all the lectures on time, you'll get 20% full credit. And if you miss 3 for some reason, you're traveling or something happens, I don't know, I'll drop the 3 lowest scores. And then you have your homework, which is the Mastering Chemistry, which is another 20% of your final grade. And again, I dropped the 3 lowest scores. Mastering Chemistry, I'm not like super particular, like you have to do it without your book or something like that. You can use whatever resource you want. Using less resources will help you get a better idea of how much you actually know the material. But it's also homework, so you know, this is your time to practice the material. So you can use your book, whatever you want, to answer the homework. That's up to you. I would suggest at least just trying to do it. You know, try each question without using your notes or anything like that, and see where you are, and that may give you an idea of where you're at. But if you can't answer the question, then go through your notes or the slides or the book, and that will help you answer the questions. The midterm exams, there's going to be 3, so they're almost every other week. So yeah, this class goes fast. And those are 40%, so there's 3 of those, and I dropped the lowest midterm exam. So if you just, for some reason, do bad on one of them, just try again the next time, and you should be good. And then the final exam is 20%, and that cannot get dropped. So that's kind of how the grading works. Hopefully that's pretty straightforward. And I'm going to go to Learning Suite now. Let's see. Okay. Here it is, I think. Sorry, still learning how to use this thing. Okay, here we go. Okay, so now we're in Learning Suite, and this is the view that you should see. This is the student view. So when you come onto Learning Suite, you got all these different tabs here. So the home is where you'll see different items coming up that are due. So assignment due dates with these little orange dots, that's what's due on Monday, June 22nd, basically. So you can also email. You can use this tab to email me or email other students in the class as well. And then you also have the option for like the Learning Suite messages up in the top right corner. You can use those as well if you want to get a hold of me. I don't really care which one you use. So under the content tab is where you'll find more of the useful things. So in resources, this is the link to the YouTube channel. I just put some other online tutorial videos that might help if you need a little extra help in a certain subject. You could dive into those. Dr. Lamb was a professor here and made a bunch of YouTube videos. And then obviously Khan Academy has always helped me a lot. And AP Chemistry covers a lot of the topics that we'll talk about as well. Again, the tutorial lab schedule is something I'll update as I get more information on. And then to do a Mastering Chemistry account, you'll click here and use this course ID. You also need to enter your BYU Net ID, which is how I can transfer your grades from the homework assignment on Mastering Chemistry into Learning Suite. So don't use like the 9-digit number that you find on your BYU ID card. It's your Net ID, so that's what you use to sign in when you're getting onto Learning Suite. Like mine is ismith9, so it's going to be that username that you use. And if you use the wrong one, we'll find out quickly because you're going to get a bunch of zeros on your homework. We can correct it later on, but it's kind of a lot of work. So try and get it right the first time, and hopefully that works out. So in the lecture slides portion over here, you'll find the PowerPoint that I use in the lecture, and then I'll also post the link to the YouTube video that corresponds with that lecture. So those will come available as I record them. And then the exam info is just kind of for your information if you're interested. So there's 2 sheets that I'm going to allow you to use on the exam. The exams are closed note, closed book, closed everything, right? Except for these 2 equation sheets you can print out and have with you while you take the exams. So you can just have the equation sheets, some scratch paper, a pencil, and a calculator basically is what you'll get for the exams. These are just like some historical data on the exams if you're curious. For example, when the first one comes up, the average time is about 1.5 hours to take this first exam, and then the average score. The exams will be adapted a little bit differently because these exams that I'm using have like a short answer section, and it doesn't really work well for Learning Suite exams. And so the exams are going to be all either multiple choice or like you enter a number. So it's going to be a little bit different. The data would probably be a little bit different than what you see here, but this at least gives you a rough idea. It seems like all of them are between 1 hour to 2 hours on average, which means some people take, 3 hours to take the exam. So yeah, you kind of can use that to help you understand how much time you're going to need to set aside when you take the exams. And then TA slides, every once in a while the TAs will post a exam review or something like that. So this is just a place where they can post stuff for you guys if you want. And then get help, I'll put just my office hours here, and this is the Zoom link. So Monday through Friday, 10 to 11 a.m. This is Mountain Standard Time, so Utah time. if you want to come into the office hours, you just click on this link and it should bring you into the virtual office hours. Digital dialogue, we're not going to really use. It's kind of a discussion board. I think I'll open up a discussion for people to introduce themselves if they want to. Just might be fun to get to know people, know your hobbies, stuff like that. You don't have to do it, but you know, I think it'd be fun to kind of get to know each other more, even though we're not like in person. And then also I'll just open like a general discussion, which I kind of imagine this to be almost like a Facebook page kind of thing. So if you just say, you know, hey, like I can't find the lecture link or something like that, I guess you could email me that, or you could post it and ask other students if, you know, if they haven't found it either, something like that. I don't know. I just thought I'd put it there in case you guys want to use it. So, and then exams, right? This is where you're going to find all of the midterm exams, but you'll also find all of the lecture quizzes. So exams and Learning Suite is for quizzes and exams. So this is where you'll go to take your lecture quizzes, which are where you just, it's a one question quiz that says, did you watch the lecture? You just choose yes or no if you didn't. But if you didn't watch it, you're probably not going to take the quiz anyway. And so it just counts as 0. So whatever, go in there and say yes if you watched the lecture, and you'll get points for that. And then grades obviously is where you can check your grades, and you'll see the different assignments here. You've probably used this before if you've taken BYU class, but at the bottom it gives you kind of your progress and where you're at so far. And let's see what else. So schedule. This is going to be really helpful to help you stay on track and know what we're doing. So Monday, June 22nd is the first day of class, and there's 2 lectures because our class periods would have been 2 hours, and each lecture is about an hour. It may be a little shorter since I'm recording it, but if we were in person, it would have been about an hour. So you'll get 2 lectures each day that you would have had class if you were here in person. And so the homework assignments are due before the next lectures. So homework, we just have homework 1 because lecture 0 doesn't have any homework. But lecture 1 will have a homework assignment. There's 1 homework assignment for every lecture. So you'll watch lecture 1 on Monday, and then you'll work on the homework for lecture 1 and turn it in, or not turn it in, but finish it online before the lecture, the next period, which is Wednesday in this case. Homework 1 is due. And then this should also say lecture 1 quiz. So you have a lecture 0 quiz and a lecture 1 quiz on the day that that you would have received the lecture 0 and the lecture 1. So then on Wednesday, you would have the homework due from the previous lecture before, this is before 10 a.m. Because it should be before class, and we have class at 10 a.m. technically. And then you'd also have your lecture 2 and lecture 3 quizzes due at midnight on Wednesday to make sure you watch the lecture on Wednesday. So then on kind of just going down the list, on Friday, we have homework 2 and homework 3 that are due from lecture 2 and lecture 3. So you have 2 days to work on those. And then also, again, it's not listed, but it will be listed. I'll fix it. But you'll have the lecture 5 and the lecture 4 quizzes due Friday evening to tell you that, or to make sure that you watch the lectures on Friday when you would have been watching the lectures if you were here in person. So this kind of just shows you that there is a lot of work in this class. It doesn't seem like a lot of work when you take it, or I mean, it's still always a lot of work, but taking it in a normal semester, you have about 13 weeks to do all this. in the summer semester, this is going to be condensed into like 6 or 7 weeks. So I would expect on average, there's 6 hours of lecture that you have to watch each week. And there's 6 homework assignments basically to do each week. And then every other week there's a test basically. So I would say it will probably take anywhere between 10 hours a week up to 30 or maybe even a little more hours a week, depending on your previous exposure to chemistry. So if you've already taken AP chemistry and you really you know this stuff pretty well already, you're going to just be watching the lectures and then doing the homework problems and studying for the test. And that may only take 10 to 15 hours of your time during the week. If you haven't had a lot of chemistry, or if you took AP chemistry and just didn't understand it the first time through, it could take, 30 hours a week, maybe more. I'm not sure. It's going to depend a lot on just the student. But I just want to make it clear kind of what you'll be taking on as you do the summer term of Chem 101. Not to scare anybody. I think it's totally doable if you just work hard. But just giving everyone kind of an idea and a clear expectation of what's required in this class, and that there's a lot of material to go through. So then in the syllabus, you'll find a lot of just the information on what the class is about, prerequisites, the grading scale is pretty standard from what you see in most classes, all the university policies that are generally included. So go ahead and read through all these. And then the assignments, it just shows you again that grading breakdown. So the 4 categories, you have the lecture quizzes, which is 20%. The midterm exams are 40%. The homework is 20%. And then you have a final exam for 20%. And then also one thing to mention, I just put a little extra credit in here. If you visit, usually I have people visit me in my office so that I can get to know you guys. But what I'll do is just within the first 2 weeks, I'll just mark down if you came to office hours, basically, just because I want people to get used to office hours and make sure they feel comfortable coming or asking me for questions. So if you come to office hours, then within the first 2 weeks, then you'll get this little extra credit, little bump in your homework section. But again, it's extra credit, so if you don't want to, that's up to you. All right. I think I covered everything for this introduction lecture. If you feel like I missed something, send me an email and I will respond. Again, I want to make sure communication lines are totally open, because online can be difficult to communicate sometimes. So feel free to email me or message me. And yeah, I'm excited. Should be a sweet semester. And hopefully it's not too much different than as if we were in a face-to-face mode, trying to make it as straightforward as possible. So I will see you in the next one.